The Rambler Network.
I remember the first time I ever played BioShock. At the time, I didn't know anything about it except it took place underwater and used an Art Deco style. Shortly into the game, you come across a little sister. These are creepy looking creatures, and the game makes it abundantly clear that if you harvest them, you'll get more Atom, which is used to upgrade skills. So, harvesting the little sisters will essentially kill them in order to upgrade and become stronger faster. The very first time I ever came to this decision, I came very close to doing it. Like I said, these creatures are creepy, and the game is very clearly nudging you towards harvesting them. But I decided not to, because I didn't know what the skills were yet, and didn't need to upgrade much. So I decided to cleanse the little sister instead. It turns out, she was just a little human girl who had been cursed. After that, it was never even a question. I immediately cleansed every little sister I came across. I never harvested a single one. I later found out that it's pretty much universally agreed that harvesting little sisters is morally reprehensible, as it should be. The first time I played Infamous Second Son, I did the hero path. It was fun, but as soon as I beat it, I started the game over and decided to go the villain route to see how different the game was. You get better, stronger powers. The game becomes easier because your character essentially has no desire to pull punches. However, it feels wrong because now everyone fears you, even some of the enemies. By the end of the villain playthrough, you're pretty much overpowered. I feel like I had more fun playing the hero path. The game rewards cruelty with power, but it costs identity. In Assassin's Creed Odyssey, you have the option to make moral choices that change the world around you. However, sometimes it's not as straightforward as you might expect and leads to unexpected consequences. Early in the game, you come across a group of soldiers about to kill a family accused of carrying a plague. Your character is given the choice to stop the soldiers and let the family live, or allow them to kill the family. The obvious choice would be to let the family live. My first playthrough, I let them live. But if you come back to the island later in the game, plague has wiped out most of the inhabitants. My second playthrough, I opted to have the family killed, and when I came back later, the island was thriving. Morality hits differently when the right choice doesn't lead to the right outcome. In Skyrim, you're given the choice to kill one of three people in front of you, all to impress Astrid, leader of the Dark Brotherhood. Or you can kill all three. Either way, she's impressed and you're in the Brotherhood. Alternatively, you can opt to just kill Astrid and it triggers a quest to wipe out the Dark Brotherhood, which seems like the morally good option. However, that's just one quest. If you choose to join the Brotherhood, it opens up a long storyline and a bunch of quests. So, by going the morally good route, you'd be closing off a whole section of the game. Skyrim doesn't even have a morality mechanic. The world doesn't remember long. One time I leveled up my stealth, archery, and one-handed to 100 and became the Skyrim serial killer. I killed so many people and my character was unaffected. The world didn't notice. In fact, the one time I was caught, I just paid a bounty and everything was fine. When the world doesn't remember, morality becomes optional. Is that freedom? Does consequence create morality? Something I've noticed is that older GTA titles like San Andreas have no long-term penalties for going on rampages. I take all my weapons and start gunning down pedestrians, get a 5-star wanted level, run from the cops until the wanted level went away, then I'd go back to what I was doing. Then GTA 5, and especially GTA Online, made it harder to do that. You still can, but in the main game, the cops remember you more. and are more likely to come after you if you regularly rampage, even when you're not currently doing it. In GTA Online, the game puts a bounty on your head and other players come to kill you. As a result, in modern GTA, I don't rampage anymore because that kind of took the fun out of it. The chaos wasn't as fun once the world remembered. Undertale is almost the purest morality experiment in gaming. You can kill everyone, or no one. The game remembers, and it judges. And unlike Skyrim, the world does remember. Characters react differently. Dialogue changes. The ending changes. And even resetting doesn't fully erase your actions. Are we good? Or are we consequence sensitive? Do morality systems reveal who we are, or do they simply shape us? Maybe video games don't reveal our morality. Maybe they reveal how we respond to systems. When cruelty is rewarded and consequence free, some of us experiment. When the world has memory, we behave differently. When the cost becomes human, we hesitate. And maybe being good in a game isn't about virtue. Maybe it's about the kind of world we want to live in, even if that world is fictional. Maybe that's why morality systems in games fascinate us so much. Not because they tell us whether we're good or evil, but because they give us a safe place to test who we might be when no one is watching, when the stakes aren't real. When the consequences are digital, what do we choose? This doesn't just apply to gaming. There's a concept called the shopping cart theory, which basically says the shopping cart is the ultimate litmus test for whether a person will do the right thing without being forced to. There's no reward for putting the shopping cart back in the designated area. There's no punishment for not doing it. There's no law saying you have to. You either return it because it's the right thing to do, or you don't. Video games might be one of the few places where we're given complete freedom without real-world consequences. No one gets hurt. Nothing follows us home. And yet, we still hesitate. We still feel something. A friend of mine told me, being mean to pixels makes me feel bad. And I have to agree with her. Games are systems. They're rules and incentives and consequences. And when we step into them, we adapt. So maybe games don't just reflect who we are. Maybe they quietly teach us who we're willing to be. I almost harvested that first little sister. Not because I'm cruel, but because the system nudged me towards power. Games give us choices, but they also show us how easily we can justify them. And sometimes they remind us that we'd rather be the kind of person who rescues.
The Rambler Network.